Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, чогось наша славна Україна зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо.
Hello, welcome to Record Label Boss. It's still war in Ukraine, so if you're thinking about doing something good today, why don't you go ahead and donate something to the people that need it? And if you want to do so, and if you wonder how to do so, you can go to our website, accountzerorecords.com. At the top left-hand corner, we have the link tree that you can also link on your webpage, provided by the Ukrainian government with institutions that are official. There's so many people collecting money, but if you want to make sure that your money goes the right way, donate to the official organizations, and you'll be fine. Hello and welcome to Record Label Boss, everybody over there on Reddit and everybody else. I want to say hi to Serbian and to Yo-Yo as well, and to everybody else who's joining me today at a later time. Because I have just been in a meeting for 2.5 hours or so with the Austrian Independent Label Federation. There is also a representative of Merlin in there, which is, of course, the International Label Federation. And we were talking about a lot of stuff because due to COVID, people haven't been, as meeting as regular as usual. And quite some things have changed in the label sphere, and things are changing for artists and labels. And there's a lot of interesting things that I learned there that I want to talk about today. And then also, it's ARPAN Day today, and the topic on Reddit is still, I created a viral Discord bot, which also happened in these like last 2 or 3 days. So many things happened that are extremely interesting to talk about. And I'm going to do that and play some music from our artists, and then talk about the things that happened today. I'm going to start with the bot and how that is going, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about what we heard today from the Austrian Independent Label Federation and other things that might be that might be interesting to artists, or that might be of use to you. And as always, if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. Plus, I still have to review a whole bunch of music that I've had been like sitting in my inbox because I haven't been able to do anything on that front either, and we're gonna do that as well. So let me just really quickly spin this all up. I literally checked out of the Zoom call, went to the toilet, and came down here. I got 13 tracks pending. I'm gonna stop this music. We're gonna review some music together, and while we do that, we will talk about some other topics as well, so that we have the later half of the show to talk about all the interesting things that happened with the bot and with the label. All right, guys, I'm going to start the tracks. Serby just subscribed for 11 months. Thank you, Serby. That's very nice. It's always great to have people like that support you that long. You know what I mean? Seriously, as an artist, as a label, as anybody who's a creator, people that support you for a long time are the very greatest people, because the most people don't support you at all as a creator, and that's fine. 99% of the people that see you don't support you in any way. 1% support you, and out of that 1%, only like 10% actually support you in a continuous matter. So for artists, for creative types, for people like us, it's really super important. So thank you for subscribing for 11 months there. That's really good. Vibey Beats says hi. Hi, Vibey Beats. And Serby says he has bronchitis. Oh, dude, then you need to really stay in bed, because that can be really dangerous, but you need to be in bed and relax. All right, let's hear some music from independent artists from around the world. Okay, what are we hearing here? Strange Dusk from France. Hey, Vani. Hey, Meg. Did I not greet anybody? Lots of rest and liquids. Yeah. And don't toy with it either, because we have. I mean, if you get bronchitis really bad and then you get COVID, then it's really gonna suck for you. So and Vani says she got bronchitis after COVID. Yeah, that's not good. That's pretty bad. Okay, what am I gonna say here? Interesting, but somewhat eclectic track. Reminds me of what I used to listen to in the 80s. Reminds me of 80s underground electronic, like the Invincible Limit, Push, and things like that, Keep working. All the Alright, Claude Jose, electronic hip hop.
I'm gonna get it. I see it clearly.
And Vani says she has chronic bronchitis because I played with my health a few years back. Didn't took meds and didn't rest. Oh no, Vani. That's...
No one can stop me, no one can bring me straight to the top. Is where I am aiming. Think I'ma quit on now that
Yeah, too low key. Cool track that stays very low key and seems to be fluid and without a distinct chorus. All the best and cheers. All right. Okay, so the funniest thing I heard today, I have to tell you the funniest thing I heard today because it's insane. So the president of the Austrian Indie Federation is Alex, and the federation is called VTMO. It's a German abbreviation, and he regularly does gives informational updates to all the indie labels, and there's people in there that are artists and have just started their indie label, and then there's people like me who have been doing this for a while, and then there's people in there that have been doing it for 30 years. So there's a widely different group of people in there, from small to medium, from long-term label owner to just starting out person. And today he was talking about legislation that indie federations are currently pushing or trying to get done in order to reward artists for more than one payment impulse. And today I learned that every song that's played online, the payment impulse is registered after 30 seconds of listening to that song. And there's only one payment impulse registered, which means that if somebody listens to your song and they listen for 29 seconds, you don't get paid. If they listen for 14 seconds, you don't get paid. You get paid when somebody listens to your song for 30 seconds. Then the payment registers. And everything after that, you essentially don't get paid. And this is why people are putting out more and more shorter songs. Because if you can cut your song down to 2 minutes, if you can cut your song down to a minute, obviously the best way to have your song would be 31 seconds, because then immediately you would get paid again. So if you divide your song that's 3 minutes, which is 180 seconds, and you divide it in 2 or 3 songs, and you make very, very short songs, you would get paid 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the amount of money that you would get paid for a long song. And a lot of classical labels are having really big difficulties streaming, because if you have a piece that's 10, 12, 20 or more minutes, or if you have a club mix that's 8 minutes or something, the song only ever registers for the first 30 seconds, and it registers only once. So indie labels, not the majors, are pushing for legislation and for changes in that regard, to where artists would be paid continuously for every 30 seconds that somebody is listening to their music, thereby making it irrelevant of making shorter songs. But it seems that the industry is generally interested in keeping this low amount of seconds for the payment impulse. So if you want to be successful over the next years, because it's probably not going to change anytime soon, make your songs significantly shorter. If you're now doing 330 songs like we used to do, I always said a song is 320 is a good part for a song. If you want to get paid twice of what you're currently making, make it a 1 minute and 30 song, Alex there said that most major labels and people are now aiming more and more towards the 2-minute mark. And that seems to be the new golden standard for streaming. And that has also made me think about it and possibly reconsider our 320 thing, and just do 2-minute songs. Because, and here comes the thing, we are still oriented toward radio play. Radio likes 320. But in a situation where you get all of your money from streaming, and the indication is very clear, in Austria we had a drop of downloaded songs revenue, and I just came out of the meeting where we saw the numbers, and it was down 25% last year. 25% less revenue from downloaded songs in Austria last year. Now, granted, Austria isn't every country in the world, but that is extremely relevant. So as all the revenue starts shifting to streaming, people care less and less about radio and care less and less about downloading. They care about how can I make the most money streaming. And the answer for that is extremely simple. Make shorter and shorter songs, because they will go viral more on TikTok. You will get paid more on any streaming service that you're on. And your song will be listed with more plays simply because it's a shorter song and people repeat it. So instead of listening to one song that's 3:54 long, they listen to the 2-minute song twice, which means you get 2 plays listed on your song as it having played twice, and you also get paid twice. So everybody was like, I don't even want to think about what the classic music guys are thinking about that. They really have a problem. And Alex said that is essentially targeted towards the format that a lot of majors are pushing now. It's these very short attention span songs that last for a very short time. They're in very strongly pushed. It's just another way to maximize your profit versus the profit of other people, because the content that the major labels are generating, those 85% of the worldwide streaming revenue that 15 artists are taking up, or that a very small group of artists, is highly controllable by the majors, and you will see the majors push down their song time dramatically over the next years in order to get more awards. And I think that's the answer to the question of Vinny the Godfather, are there any new trends? Since radio is now essentially free and downloads are going less and less, the payment for streaming also becomes less and less, and Spotify is actually currently rolling out their discovery program, where they essentially stop paying you altogether if you want your music to be discovered. Income from streaming is going to go through the bottoms, but if you want to make some money from streaming, probably a good way is to lower your song duration. Very crazy. I do not think this is good for artists. I do not think this is good for art, because I'm always sitting here talking about you should tell a story in a song. A song should have something to, and how much of a story can you tell in 2 minutes? It's essentially what they're doing now. It's like a few loops of some major elements, and then just a repeat of that. And Vani says, I worked for Swiss radio and television a few years back, and also there we had issues with few listeners to radio. Yeah, it's very, very difficult. Okay, more songs. They hate Lil D hip hop rap.
That's why I'm lonely.
Crazy.
I'm Mr. Lonely.
Thank you for wholesome Gaetano.
I could go back.
This is going too far, Denzel.
Said that she lone. Shorty not basic, don't wanna own. Shorty don't say shit, she just get on. Don't wanna waste it.
Great video, and
Go get some money. Back to Miami, I feel like I'm toned. Back out the blick, I shoot like you know. Been through some shit, had to cut off some homie. They tellin', go the bridge, you gonna go and take.
But look at this. Look at this. This video
So big, it makes no
is 2 minutes long. It's a person that's obviously very new to rapping, but the video is 2 minutes long. This is exactly the new format. What people are saying in okay track with a good video and improvable vocals. I'd work on. All the best and cheers. And of course, we talked about that the music industry is about to completely change over the next years. It's really, really difficult. Where do you see the song length in the future? Shorter. Shorter. More streams, more plays, more numbers. Just imagine you have a song and it's 4 minutes long. It's your typical 354 song. And you have 500,000 plays on it, and it's 2 minutes long, and you have 1 million plays on it. Can you deduce the impact that would have? You would get twice the payment. You would get twice the spotlight from an algorithm picking it up because you now have twice as many plays. So if you're put side by side with an artist and you're rated by plays, and now I know this the algorithm on YouTube is a lot smarter than that, but on, for example, Spotify, it's not. Spotify is like the dumbest system possible. It will just appear that you have more plays, and you will get paid for these plays. That is crazy. So the next person is going to come up and say, okay, I'm going to make 1 minute songs. Why not? There is no rule against 1 minute songs. So there's a race to the bottom here. But if you want to go viral, I would probably do 2 minutes or less. From an artistic standpoint, I think it's bullshit because it's too little time to do anything with your song, really. But from a digital marketing standpoint, I would say that okay, that was an instrumental. From a digital marketing standpoint, I would say, okay, track that has some good parts. Would like to hear more in the future. All the best and cheers. Not gonna, okay, instrumental, electronic, kind of like Dr. Candy wise. And Vinny says, but that leads to a deeper question in terms of how much money would a short song generate? Twice as much as a long song. No matter how successful, because any listening time is just paid twice. Other than maybe that people kind of like say, yeah, I don't want to listen to the song again. I'm going to listen to something else. But then again, if you want to get on the playlists, and this is what we talked about today as well. You want to get on the playlists of all the teenagers that play your stuff on repeat. You want to get on the private playlists of 13-year-old girls that listen to love songs or Billie Eilish, and 13-year-old boys that listen to some kind of mostly rap or hip-hop music or something like that, and then play that on repeat for hours every day while they're doing homework. And targeting that demographic is what made major labels big. That is currently their marketing thing is young listeners that put you on repeat with very short songs. And this is where the majors are currently aiming. because this is where the most money is. And since they are able to quickly shift their production, because all of the music for Dua Lipa and everybody else is made by the by some people in the background anyway, they can just tell them, make shorter songs. Next year, every song that we put out is going to be shorter. You know? So, well, it's fairly easy. I always use this example. I have two friends that are not on the label, René Luengo and Dominic Fritz, and they just made a song. It's called City Lights. It has about 1 million plays, and they each, since they both worked on it, got 900 euros for the 1 million plays. Now imagine if their song, which is, I'm sure it's a long song because they always make long songs, was cut down to the minimum of 2 minutes. They would have received, instead of 900, 1,800 euros. And instead of 1 million plays, they would have received 2 million plays. So they effectively would have gotten twice the money and twice the plays, and nobody would know that was only from making the song shorter. People didn't necessarily, you know what I mean, listen longer or listen more intently or spend more time on their music or more focus on their music, but twice the money and twice the plays, which of course would make the artist appear twice as successful as well, because they're even getting paid for it. So somebody comes to me and says, I get 2 million plays and I got paid for it. I'm not thinking that they're only getting this because their song is teeny tiny. I'm thinking, you know, they're twice as visible as the guy with the 1 million and the 900. Vani says, I hate long songs. Pretty cool track. Would definitely like to hear more in the future. All the best and cheers. It's cool electronic, but a little bit too little. It is not enough there. There's something there, but it's not enough. So yeah. But this is just on an artist level. And then we were talking about various ways that the creative industry could compensate artists better than what they currently do. But at the very basic level, it comes down to Spotify giving away the music for free and then telling everybody, well, we can only distribute what we get. If you as a company give away music for free and 99% of your customers don't pay anything for the music, and you then say, well, I'm not making any money, the point is that you're selling somebody else's goods, and so you're giving away somebody else's goods for free. And the business model of Spotify that was also talked about was actually, and this is what now I am saying, never to sell music. A lot of people don't understand this. The business model of Spotify is not to sell music. They don't give a shit about music sales and how much artists get. It's not their game. The business model of Spotify is to give music to people for as little money as possible, get users in return, get a corporate valuation that's based on users, and increase the corporate value of Spotify. They're now worth $22 billion, and they couldn't give a shit about how much they're paying out. They're getting paid by the increase in their corporate value, and their corporate value increases when they have more users, and they have more users, the more music they give away for free, and the lower their prices are. Spotify is in direct opposition to every artist and every label because their business model is not to sell music and to take a cut from it, but their business model is to give away the music that other people make for free in order to raise the valuation and the value and the worth of their company. And this is why Daniel Ek has $3 billion in private profits. That's why the board members have $2 billion in private profits. And that's why artists aren't really getting paid anything from Spotify, because the business model is to give away music for free and to pay and to make fans pay as little as possible, but to have a lot of people, so the valuation of your company increases and you can then sell the shares for a lot of money. That means that everybody who's engaged in Spotify will walk away with billions, and at the same time, artists aren't getting paid anything. And the data collection is just an afterthought. That's also interesting, but in comparison to the value increase, selling the data that they're collecting about what's trending, etc., is peanuts. Because that company is worth like 50 times of what they pay out to indie artists every year. The music business, the business of selling music and the business of selling music data dwarfs in comparison to the increase of their share value. It's all like peanuts. It's really just a sideshow. The entire thing with artists, and this is what I always say in these forums, when people are haggling about numbers, and we should ask Spotify for a 5% increase. I said, you're missing the big point. We, as artists and as labels, need to take part in the value generation of Spotify that has made them $22 billion. Because out of that value generated, absolutely nothing goes to artists. And that's the business model. Give away everything for free and increase your share value, which means you're directly taking the money that somebody else has actually owned and put it in your share value. And it's extremely simple, and I talk about this on every forum that I'm at, and usually musicians are like, What? I never knew this. Or some of them are weirded out because Spotify wants to have a conversation about cents. Are we paying 0.00004 or 0.00042? That's the conversation that Spotify wants to have. But the conversation that I want to have is, why do you have $22 billion on your account that you have taken by not paying artists fairly? That's the conversation I want to lead, because that is like 15 years of payment for every artist that they've snuggled aside and that nobody touches because it's all theirs. And therein lies the con. So the con is not in the algorithm that determines whether you're paid 1% of what you're owed, or you're paid 3% of what you're owed, or you're paid 4% of what you owed. The point is that you're not getting paid. You're just getting a nominal amount of money that is only 100th of what you should probably get paid. Because think of what you could do with $22 billion. Okay? There's 5 million releasing artists on Spotify. And $22 billion means that each one of them, hold on, I'm going to do the math. And then I can tell you what they owe to every single one of us. So 22 billion, that's 22,000 million. That's an incredibly big number. So 22,000 million. That's such a fucking huge number. And I will divide that by 5 million. And it comes out that they owe every single one $4,400. So if you are an artist, Spotify has, just on average, taken $4,400 from you over the time of its existence. And that is how they get rich. Most of my artists have not received $4,400 in revenue from Spotify ever. Like ever. Ever since I've been doing payouts, nobody gets $4,400 as an indie artist. But this is a calculation artist broken down on every single artist. If I were to do this just for indie artists, etc., it will be wildly different. But I think what you can understand is it doesn't matter if you argue with them if you should be owed 0.004 or 0.002 when they're owing you $4,400. And that's how they got rich. So if I have 5 million people and I jack them all for $5,000, then that is the problem, and not some kind of like 000 whatnot thing. New Hat says Creepy Ape. No, it's not. I just have Count Zero Records and Avio, and I was wearing the Count Zero Records shirt today because I was at that Zoom meeting with the label association. Creepy Ape says, as a producer, do you subscribe to the traditional song structure, verse, build-up, chorus, bridge, etc.? Yes, I do, because I think it has its everlasting internal beauty that I really, really, really like. I made a song that completely breaks that song structure. It's a stoy, but it still feels organic. But I feel that most artists would be better served in adhering to a more classical song structure, because in all honesty, most of the music that I listen to every day doesn't have a structure at all. Advanced structures that go away from the classical structure but are still good are like 3 levels above that. They're like super hard to do. So start with that. But yeah, so the 22 billion, the 4,400 that they own every single artist on the entire fucking planet. This is how they're making their money. It's not the few, like, it's not the $10 that they're paying you out every year, and you're arguing with them, should they pay me out $10 or should they pay me out $12? They should pay you out $4,400 that they own you. And this is exactly the point. They want to have the conversation. Are we paying you $10 or are we paying you $11? That's currently the conversation that they're having, and that they want to have, because they want everybody to focus on that very much, because it doesn't matter to them if they pay you 11, if they pay you 10, if they pay you 12. It does not matter. But if you're happy to lead that conversation with them, they're more than happy to engage with that conversation, because that conversation does not take into account that they made $22 billion by giving away your music for free, and that they owe you $4,400, which... And I make the bills for all of my artists, and I know what they do on average on Spotify. But let's just say that's more than 100 years of Spotify payment for most people. 4,400. A lot of the artists that I know typically get like $40 a year. Spotify. I'm talking just about Spotify. Just imagine we're having this conversation and we're going to include Apple and other people. The entire streaming industry owes every single artist about $10,000 because their value increased by giving away somebody else's music for free. So artists are actually owed a huge debt, but the conversation that they're having is not Spotify owes us $4,400, Apple owes us $3,000, and this and that streaming service. They all became billionaires. The streaming industry owes us $10,000 per artist. The conversation they're having is, are we going to pay you $10 or $11 next year? Knowing full well that you're never going to make that money back any time ever. And as long as you're talking about the $10 and $11 with them, you're not talking about the thousands that they that they took from you. And this is the real problem. And I have to say that today at the Federation meeting, most people did not understand this. And this is because most musicians, but also most label people, are not economists like me, and did deal with this kind of financial scheming that is very, very prevalent in larger companies. And I was part of it because I started my corporate career as an M&A specialist. Just for brief reference, that's a person that evaluates companies, that essentially says what is a company worth, and there's various tricks on how you can disenfranchise your shareholders, how you can disenfranchise your owners, you can disenfranchise your suppliers, your customers. There's various tricks on how a company can do things with the people that it works with in the economic sphere, in order to take money from them, and they don't necessarily understand it. There's a lot of other tricks that Spotify also does. For example, they let artists pay their research and development and advertisement. So artists, you are paying Spotify so they can run Spotify ads, and you are paying Spotify so Spotify can make their software better. It's all paid for by the artists because it's all claimed to be unavoidable costs that Spotify has to cover from the revenue that they're getting. So in essence, artists are financing everything that they have, to the tune of billions. And if I would see that as a professional evaluator, I would say somebody's getting fucked here. You know? Creepy Ape says, do you think artists should study the music theory? Do modern artists do so? Yes, absolutely. They should study music theory. It's very important to know. Do modern artists do so? Some do, some don't. But I think everybody should. I'm gonna wrap up this economy talk, but just remember, the conversation that people usually have about streaming is about the $10. It's not about the $4,400, and we need to have a conversation about the $4,400 and not about the $10. All right, let's listen to some music. It's getting fucked, an industry term. Oregon grunge. No, but when we found while we were evaluating a company that the company's revenue that the company's value, economic value, which not only consists of revenue, was garnered in a way that is ultimately not sustainable, we would evaluate the company less. So if I would see a business model like Spotify's, you cannot do this to people permanently, because people will find out that there's a corporate side where billions are piling up, and there's an artist side where nothing ever happens and no money is gathered. And no matter how much propaganda you do, no matter how many ads you run, eventually people are going to find out that you made 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 billion, while here we have nothing. And at this point, yes, absolutely Oregon grunge, but the point is that at that point, the owners of Spotify will all be multi-billionaires, and they will give absolutely zero fucks about it. Daniel Ek is going to sell all of his share long before that happens. He's going to cash in his $3 billion, and then he's going to have $3 billion on his bank account that's just by today's value. And his buddy CEO would not, $2 billion, the entire board. A lot of people are going to walk away from this as billionaires, and they don't care if the company collapses. And this is, of course, an unsustainable business model, and this is very, very dangerous when you acquire a company like that. In German, there is this thing called Die Reise nach Rom, and I think the translation would be the travel to Rome, and I think it's called musical chairs. It's like this game where the music plays and there's always one chair less than there's people. And eventually, and every time the music stops, people sit down, and one person doesn't have a chair, they get kicked out, and then it goes on and goes on and goes on. And you just have to make sure that this unsustainable system, you're exiting it before it breaks down. And this is what they're going to do. You will see over the next few years Daniel Ek exiting Spotify because he has to sell his shares because eventually Spotify is going to go down, just like everybody else who has an unsustainable business model. And it's a gigantic money scheme, of course. That's why they don't care if the company continues to exist, because it has done what it was supposed to do for its owners. It's made them billionaires. What more do you want? Do you want to continue to run the company? That was never the point. The point was to make a lot of money, to take it and to run. It's like a rug pull in crypto. It's like people telling people, oh, buy this token, buy this, I don't know, buy this coin, buy whatever not. And then once enough people have bought it, you sell all of it. You get the money back and you run away and you say, you know what, fuck you all, guys. I get the money on my account and you're none the wiser. So, you know what, fuck you all. There you go. And this is exactly what's going to happen today. Today, Spotify's course lost 15% because they did the quarterly earning prediction. Why does this keep happening to Spotify? And this is also funny because they don't have any revenue. When you give away music for free, per definition, you don't have revenue because you're not a real company. And this is why they're continuously disappointing shareholders, because they're not having revenue, because they're not selling music. They're giving away music for free so they can have more users. So today, in a single day, Spotify lost 15% of its value. Wonderful, when shareholders got to know how little the company makes. Now let me go one further. So the artists aren't making money. And the company isn't making money. Where's the money going? Okay? Where's the money going? The company itself, if you look into the books of Spotify, it makes almost no profit because they say we give out all the profit to the artists. But they don't because they only pay this much. So where's all the money going? I have a number for you. The rent for Spotify's offices is more than they pay out to all independent artists all over the world in total combined. They're draining it out. They're draining the fucking company dry, and this is why they don't have any profit, and this is why they have shitty revenues, because they don't really work the company, they don't really work with customers, and they don't really increase revenue by selling product, because they're not selling product. They're garnering users by giving away stuff for free that they didn't create. They're giving away goods that other people made for free in order to increase their corporate value and enrich themselves. So if you look at the net value flow of Spotify, and we did that a lot, net value flow, what is that? Where does the money come from, and where does it ultimately end up? It ultimately ends up in the hands of Spotify's owners, and it comes from everybody else. It's a magical system. It's a magical system to where, for some reason, all the money ends up in the private hands of Spotify's owners, and nobody else seems to be making any money. Your typical share investor that thinks that the company is going to progress, they're going to make more money, they're going to have bigger revenue and a higher profit margin every year, is disappointed because they're like, how the fuck is it that these are like the number one guys in selling music, and then they have less revenue every year? And they're not making any profit? How can this be? The owner of this company has $3 billion private His second guy has 2. The entire company is worth 22 to the people that hold the shares. And I, as a person who came in last year, I'm wanting to profit from my investment, and everything what I get is a shareholders report saying, look, we're even shittier today than we were last year. And that's what happens when you don't have product to sell, and they don't have product to sell. They're not selling product. And when people aren't selling product, you know something is very wrong with the company. If you find out that the company, for some reason, there's a lot of money in the hands of the people that own the company, but they're not really selling anything, and they're not having any kind of business fundamentals that you would normally expect, like, we have these many units and we have this price, something is wrong, because it cannot be. And the only explanation for that is somebody's getting jacked. Somebody's always getting jacked. When that happens and there is no normal economic situation with costs, with revenue, with costs, with profit margins, you increase your sales, you increase the profit. You have a company that has decreasing sales, decreasing revenue, and decreasing profits, but increasing money on the side of the owners. How does that even work? What is that? Is that some kind of like some magic island to where money is made out of thin air? No, it's because it's a value transfer, because of course music is worth something, and that worth is transferred through the system by generating the amounts of users for the company, and the users are valued for the worth of the company. The value of the company increases, and all of the shares are owned by, most of it are owned by its founders and owners. And this is one of the things that you, in part, and I have to say this, also see this in Tesla. And you see this in many other tech companies. You see companies that do not have a business model that they could show. The only thing they have is increase in corporate value and in valuation. So every year, their company is worth more because people believe it's worth more, but they cannot show profits, or they cannot show growing revenues, etc. People are just buying it because they think it's worth something, and the main driving factor for that is how many people you have on your platform for things like, and Spotify could not get a single person on their platform if it wouldn't have the music. So the worth that is created is the music. That's the value, and that's what's driving the corporate value of Spotify. But they're not compensating people for the value. They're keeping that for themselves. So, and there's a bunch of corporate schemes that are easily enough. I mean, I've seen it all 30 years now. I did M&A from 2005 to 13, 14. Yeah, almost 10 years. And you see pretty much every scam you can possibly think of on how people like extract money from a company but still make it look like it's actually a big company. Spotify is actually nothing. If artists would stop sending music to Spotify, it would immediately collapse, and the value that will be left over is zero, because it has no value. Spotify has never solved any kind of technical issue, any kind of economic issue. It's never made things better for anybody. It's used technology that was readily available when it was created. It's never innovated anything. People were, the first time that I know that I was streaming music was Napster, and that was a very, very, very long time before Spotify. And I didn't even see the reason why we should use Spotify, because Napster at least was free. And you know what? For most artists, Napster will be better. The original illegal Napster will be better. You know why? Because every artist had a fair chance of being heard by people. Because Spotify does that not. Spotify, meanwhile, has some big labels that own them. And of course, they put the music of their owners in the forefront. It's in every playlist, it's in every discovery, it's in everything. At least Napster was a fair store to where every single song was treated with the same amount of focus. And on Spotify, that's not the case. So in a situation to where you would never get paid anything anymore for your for your music, you wouldn't be worse off than now. Always said that to friends, what Napster was good for artists. Napster was free for everybody, but I, as an unknown artist, I could upload my music and tens of thousands of people would hear it. And if it would be good, they would like it and they would say, hey, this dude is awesome. I want to go to his show. I want to learn more about him. And you would have gained a fan. If you upload your music today to Spotify, one among the 60,000 songs, what's going to happen? The new thing, Spotify Discovery, which means if you don't agree that they from now on will pay you half of what they paid you before. If you don't agree that they cut your $10 a year in half down to $5, nobody will ever see your music ever again. They will put it in the deepest, darkest reaches of Spotify. It will not be on any playlists. It will not be on any discovery. And they guarantee you that nobody will ever see your song unless they specifically search for the song. And this is currently what they're currently rolling out in select countries. It's called Spotify Discovery. And it means that if you don't agree to a 50% pay cut for Spotify, they will bury your songs. And this is what I call being extremely fucking greedy. You're already taking everything that these people have, but here you are thinking, ha, I could take even more, you know? So coming next year, probably, Spotify will use this crutch of Spotify Discovery to cut everybody's payouts in half, unless you agree to that, you know, you will not be on Discovery. For people like us, it's not gonna matter at all, because we will agree to not be on Discovery because we are never on Discovery anyway. We're an indie label, and Spotify has never once put us on anything because they hate independent labels and they hate independent artists with a fucking passion. So for us, it's not going to matter. But so many independent artists are going to be bullied into accepting a 50% pay cut. You will not believe it. And they will advertise it. Take Discovery. Your music will be heard. And it's a bold-faced fucking lie. And you know why? If they're promising 5 million artists that their 60,000 songs a day will all be promoted by them, that means that 60,000 songs, let me just calculate that, 60,000 songs times 375, that's 22 million songs will all be promoted. Right, because you're going to promote 22 million songs in an efficient way on your platform. Because they're all giving you half of what they're currently making. Anybody who's in advertisement can tell you that's a huge fucking lie. You cannot promote 22 million songs and give them a better experience by taking half of their money. Why? Because nobody in his right mind can listen to 22 million songs, and there's just not so many playlists on the fucking earth that you can put these songs on. So what's going to happen is there's going to be people that take the 50% pay cut, and then there's going to be people who don't take the 50% pay cut. Those that do take the 50% pay cut will be absolutely the same as everybody else, as the ones that didn't take the pay cut. But Spotify will have saved a lot of money because they're going to muscle a lot of people into their fake advertisement scheme. because every indie artist that has no idea what they're doing, especially people that don't have a label, that do self-releases with DistroKid, with CD Baby, etc., they're all going to sign the 50% pay cut because they're going to believe what Spotify says, and they say you will be discovered. If you are one of the 4.5 million independent artists on Spotify, you will absolutely fucking not be discovered. There is no fucking way that this ever going to happen to you, and it's certainly not by taking half pay cut. But people are so desperate to be discovered. And so it's going to work. A lot of people are going to take the 50% pay cut, and the other people won't. And Spotify will have saved, again, 50% of what they pay out to artists. And for that, they will increase costs, which means the very next year, watch their costs grow. Their advertisement costs will be higher, their rental costs will be higher, their marketing and research costs will be higher, and they will drain that money out and they will keep it for themselves. How badly fucked can you get before you understand what's going on? And that's what I'm saying. It's not a sustainable business model, because eventually 5 years from now, 6 years from now, people are going to be like, they just, and I know I'm talking a lot about Spotify today, but excuse me, just came from that meeting. They're going to turn it around. If you think that them not paying you is the end of the line, it's not. There's plans that unless you pay them, you can't be on the platform. They're going to make it to where unless you pay them $100 a month, your album is not going to be on their platform. And then it's going to be $200, and then it's going to be $300, and then it's going to be $400. And you're going to pay them until you're fucking broke. And until all of the music industry's money, and especially all of the money from the artists and the small and medium labels, small and medium artists as well, is drained out of the system completely, and it's all to increase not the value for the regular investor, but for the owners. And that's where all the money goes. So if you go down the road with the 50% pay cut, then 5 years from now, you're going to be standing at the next 50% pay cut. And then they're going to be like, okay, we're going to make a program. It's going to be called Spotify Discovery Plus. You're going to have to pay $499 a year, and then you will be discovered more than the other two people. You know, you'll be discovered more than the guy that took the 50% pay cut. You'll be discovered a whole lot more than the guy that did not take a pay cut. And to the other guys, they're going to say, well, unless you pay us $499 a year, we're going to fucking bury your song. How about that? But this will probably be the time when they become technically and irrelevant, because they are so super incompetent of running a streaming client. I mean, they have the smallest possible technical challenge, and that is to have an app that streams music. Oh, what's going on here? Did I not loop this? And oh yeah, I didn't loop it. Yeah. And they can't make it happen. It's a horrible fucking app, and they have $22 billion, and they cannot make a decent app. You know, that just tells you a lot. Okay, I'm going to stop this topic for now, but it's extremely disappointing to me to see that one predatory company aided by other predatory companies, and you have to conclude that the major labels are in for it, because they were essentially bribed in the beginning of this whole Spotify story by Spotify giving them for free very large share packages, so that the three major labels are benefiting from the increase of value. That's why I always say the owners of Spotify, because the three major labels are also owners of Spotify. And by essentially bribing the owners, by bribing the three majors, they essentially said, you know, if we have the majors in the boat, we can manhandle the indies. They will give us the volume, they will give us the most songs, and they're just not smart enough to understand what's even going on. And I have to say that I'm continuously reminded of this whenever I'm in a group of people that work in the music industry. To me, as a corporate valuations guy, it's extremely clear what they're doing. But usually I'm the only person like that in the room, and people don't know what's going on. And to me, it's like, come on, guys, this is like the oldest trick in the fucking book. They're cheating you. And people are like, yeah, they should totally pay us $11 a year, not 10. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. All right. So next time somebody says, if you're an artist, somebody says, what about Spotify? Tell them they owe you $4,400 and you really would like to have that money back. All right, new music. This is Spoke from Switzerland electronic pop. Okay, there's some... And Vinny says, this would be the greatest rug pull in history, yeah. What about ads? I mean, there won't be much gain from it, but would that still count as income for Spotify? Yes. And Vani says you forgot those stupidly expensive premium functions they sell. Yep. I'll tell you a secret. Sorry. The reason why their stuff isn't going too well is because they're trying to sell premium features. Like technical features. Have access to this without this. Have access to that without that. There's no advertisement, etc. People generally don't want to pay for technical features or for a lack of advertisement. People want to support artists. People want to buy their favorite artist's stuff because they know some money goes to the artist. And this is why there's such a high reluctance on the side of users to adapt to any of new Spotify's payment schemes, because people have the understanding that like selling these features isn't really something that they're excited about. They don't want to pay more money to Spotify as a company, and they don't see a value in these like gadgety things. You see a value when you buy a Beatles album. You see a value when you buy an Eminem album. You say, I'm going to buy this album from Eminem, and you know what you're getting. But, you know, have less advertisements is a hard sell. And Vinny says, interesting song. The last time I used Spotify, they cut free features and placed them behind a paywall, like playing an album in a shuffled order only to be met with songs not on the album or by the artist. That's actually a key function of Spotify, that they always push you to artists that are owned by their owners. One of the Spotify is actually running multiple schemes at the same time, and one of the schemes is to get people on the platform. And usually a lot of indie artists do that for them. They advertise Spotify because they're like, yeah, pre-save my track on Spotify, listen to my album on Spotify. And then immediately Spotify comes in and says, hey, have you heard the new song from Ed Sheeran? Have you heard the song from, I don't know, this and this artist? Have you heard this? Have you heard this? And they're trying to steer you away from the indie artists and to the artists that they control. And Vinny says 50, that's outrageous. Yeah, they only do outrageous stuff. And Oregon Grunge says, I've lived on Napster. Yeah, exactly, just like me. Back when it opened so many artists that I could never afford to buy my music. Oregon, if you're still there, that is exactly me as a young boy. I was able to download stuff that wasn't even available in my country. I was able to listen to music that was completely inaccessible to me in any way. I was able to... I downloaded a lot of weird shit that I didn't like. but I found artists that I adored, that I was like, holy fucking shit, this stuff is so good, that I would never have heard in my country because radio didn't play that. They were never famous in that country. So what I had with Napster was unlimited discovery. I downloaded Beatles albums on Napster because I was a young boy. I didn't have any money, but I wanted to know what it was all about. And I found out that they have really great melodies. And I was like, these guys in their day were really fucking awesome. I downloaded many things that I would not have necessarily spent money on, just to later come back and say, this is like one of the best artists. I really like them. I'm going to buy the CD as soon as I see it somewhere in Austria. And I did. The artists that I loved, when I finally found their CD somewhere, I took the money that I had allocated for going out and partying or something, and I bought the CDs. And I would never have discovered them if it wasn't for Napster. But this isn't happening now. Now they say, hey, there's a nice playlist. It has artists from 3 labels in it. And it really only has 30 artists in it. But we're thinking you're going to like it. Why don't you play that? Hey, why don't you play that? And you're always coming to the same people. And they do it, of course, a little bit more tricky. They don't immediately point you towards their artists that they control. They always kind of like have you going in a little bit of a loop to where the Spotify algorithm is stupid, but it does somewhat know what you like. And so they play you for a while the stuff that you want to. Sorry, I'm just putting this on the stuff that you want to hear, and then they continuously add things that are from their artists, 1%, 2%, 3%, until you, after a while, only end up listening to what they want you to listen to. And in this way they influence your behavior to going and consuming the artists that they want you to consume. And Napster didn't do that. And Oregon Grunge says, keep fighting for us, please. If you had any idea how difficult this is, it's probably the world's most uneven fight that you could possibly have. I am a one-person indie label owner, and everybody on my label that works with me are artists too. We don't have 2 coins to rub together. We all have a lot of experience. I have a lot of business experience, which has helped me a lot, and which allows me to see these things and to kind of like work our contracts. But I have to say, I'm also surrounded by people in other indie labels and a lot of artists that are very well-meaning, but that have really no idea what's going on. So I don't have a lot of people that that necessarily see things the way that they are. And they're mostly in the higher levels of indiedom. You know, it's the label association presidents, it's the Merlin people, the Impala people, people that are really in the music industry. They all know it. But the last time there was a legislative offense in that direction, YouTube, Spotify, and everybody else got together and spent hundreds of millions in lobbying to directly lobby artists to tell them that the indie labels were the bad guys. And they were able to actually succeed. And in Europe, a law for the reform of the music sector was passed against the wishes of the artists' collectives and against the wishes of YouTube, etc. But it was way more favorable to YouTube, Spotify, etc. than what they wanted, because YouTube, Spotify, etc. leveraged artist organizations that they poured millions, hundreds of millions into to buy them to lobby their positions. And what they did was that they said to them, you need to lobby, you need to write your congressman, you need to write your senator, European thing, to say that artists want to directly work with Spotify and artists want to directly work with YouTube. And there was a huge campaign and a lot of pressure on European legislators. But, and I was fucking surprised, legislators actually understood what was going on. They understood that it was Spotify and YouTube and others paying to lobby artists because what they wanted was to cut out the labels, which is okay, you know, and to have direct contracts, with the artists. Because if there's one thing you can do with an artist, it's take advantage of him. That would have meant that YouTube, that Spotify would have immediately stopped paying anything to artists, because the second step would have been to completely stop any payment to artists and muscle them into like discovery contracts and things like that. And that was halfway deflected into a situation to where now nobody's happy with it. And where do I see this going? I don't know. There's a very small group in independent music that still holds the same people together. And big tech, big label, and artists are all against it. And eventually, I think that small group of label people is going to be overwhelmed. And the likes of YouTube and Spotify will take complete control over the creative industry, having artists contract directly to them, and then completely dictating the terms of creativity, meaning that they will stop paying you, absolutely. And at that point, you will have to pay to upload and host and keep live your music and your content. And at that point, you will work for YouTube and you will work for Spotify, and you will work all year just for the privilege to have your stuff on there. This is their vision for the creative industry, that they get all of the content for free, and nobody gets paid anymore. If you don't have to pay your suppliers, best business model ever. You know, this is where we're going. Okay, I've been talking too much. But I'm sad. I'm sad because I think where this is going is not a good place. And it's gonna get worse before it's gonna get better.
You walk around like you don't care. But look at me like this.
Smash the mainstream all over you.
I know that I have to leave you. Matter what we have, but say something.
You know, and it's a bit frustrating to be the person that says these things for 2 years, but I'm just one guy with a voice, you know, and about 20 people that are listening to me every day. Say something. That's it, right? That's right. That's the song. Okay, it's okay, but not totally good. Okay, track with some good parts. Keep working. You'll get there. All the best and cheers. What you can do is always the same. What you can do in any situation when things are bad in the world, you can set up your little ecosystem, your group around you, and have your own little thing going on there. Kind of like, I feel like what I'm doing label-wise is kind of like homesteading. You know, in our little group of things, things are good. You know. Well, money-wise, it's still difficult, but at least everybody's treated fairly. That doesn't mean that some people aren't pissed off and some people aren't arguing, but most people just have no freaking clue what's really going on. And they don't want to know. They're not really interested. And it's like part of the reason why artists are always taken advantage of is because they just don't bother to be informed. They just always assume that they're gonna do the creative work and then people are gonna pay them for it. Like out of the goodness of their heart, people are gonna pay them. But this sadly isn't true. Yeah, vocals. But of course, I think what I find hard, how can we help you? You can join my Discord server. I mean, that sounds stupid, but you can join the Discord server, and you can become a label supporter, and grab a label supporter subscription, gets you the VIP status, and then hang out on the Discord server, interact with us, learn, meet people, and then tell people about it. Become part of the community and become engaged. Become part of the solution and not part of the problem. And directly support the artist and the labels that you like. And I feel a lot of it starts on our Discord server. Links here, countzerorecords.com/discord. I wanted to talk about the bot, the music bot. It went viral, but haven't gotten to it yet. So yeah, I'm on the Discord all the time, you know. And I really want to build a community there of people that, you know, can and want to do something about this great injustice that's actually done to artists. Because in this equation, they're like really the weakest point. Because labels have more of an understanding what's going on, small and medium labels. Artists typically don't. It's too repetitive. That's why I'm saying want to hear more in the future, and not. There's no multiple good ideas, and I always say, you need multiple good ideas. Haven't seen that yet. Oh no. So. I should make like an organization. Support the cause! I think you can go to countzerorecords.com/VIP. Hold on, let me still... countzerorecords.com/VIP. Yeah. And then you get to the thing to where you can buy the MusicBot Premium, but that's not it. But the Count Zero Records VIP. You get access to the VIP role and you get access to the Premium MusicBot. Yep. Or you can come to Twitch. It's like, but Twitch is horrible. Twitch TV/record label boss, and you can subscribe and donate and stuff. Cool track with some potential and slightly improvable vocals. Would like to hear more in the future. All the best and cheers. I found that that I didn't need to give such exact feedback that I usually gave, that just made people upset. So now I'm giving a little bit more generic feedback, and then people are generally happier about it. Okay, some experimental. Yeah. Okay, track with some good parts and a little bit of chaos. All the best and cheers.
Damn, where you find that shit, Opon? Sound like you about to go crazy. You shouldn't be winning, bro. You shouldn't be winning, bro. Give everybody your shit, nigga. Bro, when he finally died.
But I think that at the end of all this is going to be a new music industry. I mean, it's still going to be controlled by the majors. But I think that decentralization of music distribution through new technology, and this is where blockchain could actually do something. Decentralized music distribution is going to be the thing. You're gonna have to directly support the artist that you like. You're gonna have to directly support the label that you like, the creator that you like, and you're gonna have to do away with platforms that are making all the money. Because nobody actually knows what it is that these people do. Spotify literally provides an app where you can play music. And that is a compound value of less than $100 it costs you to program an app that can provide music. I mean, we literally have that. You can go to countzerorecords.com/app and it's a shitty app, and it's literally made by me, but it plays the music from our artists for free. There's playlists and shit like that. And I did that as a side project because I thought it was cool. And a $22 billion company says that their value proposition to the customer is, we have an app that can play music. You know? Why are they getting all the money? Why is the company that makes the app getting all of the money of the music industry? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. They don't provide any value. Okay, track with some good parts, but vocals have improvement potential. All the best and cheers. That's always something that I was always looking for. Which problem is this company solving? Which value is this company creating? And Spotify is currently not solving any problem or creating any value, because literally if they were dead and a new music app would take over, it probably would be better, because their music app is shitty. So they have no inherent value that they offer to anybody, other than the fact that they are in bed with the three majors and they have a stranglehold on all of the creators worldwide to exploit them as good as they can. Okay, track with some cool parts. Would like to hear more in the future. Oh, simple track, chill track.
I'm a bad mamacita. Your niggas think I need ya. I'm not gonna deceive ya.
Oh man, that was a stream, my god. I didn't really talk about the viral Discord bot now, did it? Did I? I didn't. I started streaming around 9, right? I've been sitting here since like 5:30. And it's like 10:30 now, so I've been sitting here for 5 hours on this chair now.
I'm a bad bitch, I show out. Every time I go out, I take another hit of the weed. As he's looking at me, I want him down on his knees, dining on me. If you can't make me scream, boy, just leave. I need me a freak with big dick energy to do me properly. Daddy, make me cream. Give me what I need. I'm that bitch, Haitian baby. Got these niggas going.
Okay, that was a bit... Woo! But I got done with it. Got done with it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the bot. The Discord music bot that went viral. Such a good story that made me happy, but then a little bit sad also. So our bot... Okay, so a while ago I started developing a bot that plays our label's music that people can invite to their Discord servers, because I thought people would like that. And I worked on it for a while, and yesterday it came full circle. Because the first week I put the bot out, 5,000 servers wanted to have it, which is a very large number if you're making Discord bots. And then this week another 5,000 servers wanted to have it, and now we're standing at around over 10,000 servers that have requested our music bot. And I had thought that it would be like 20. And Discord is currently limiting us to 250. And they were saying, how can you grow so fastly to 250 servers that want to have your bot? And I'm saying, because the other 9,750 servers didn't get it. So I was contemplating, how the fuck am I gonna do that? And then I came across this guy. What is he called? Armful, who is the developer of Dashbot, and he just strode into our server somehow, and I was talking with him a little bit, and we talked about the technicalities of bot hosting and how he's doing it with Dashbot. And so I got a server specifically for our music bot, and today I was setting up that server for the music bot. And I installed a lot of stuff, and the test bot is actually running on that server now. So our Discord music bot is going to get a dedicated server just for the bot, so that the first 2,500 servers will be able to have our bot. Now, we know that there's another 7,500 servers, and that's just from 1 week. We are expecting that. I have no fucking clue how much this is going to grow. But we're gonna get into sharding next, which is essentially instancing your Discord bot so that it can be in even more servers. And once I've developed the massive things I need to develop to completely deploy our full production bot on our new server, I will then get into sharding, and I'll start sharding the bot and run multiple instances on multiple servers. And I think that there's not many Discord bots that have ever taken off the way that this bot has. And I have to say that Armful is a very nice dude. He's from California and he lives in Norway now. And he's developing Dash, which is shaping up to be a great bot. It's like a general command and administration bot. And he's got like 500 servers for that bot, you know? Which is good. And I was like, holy Christ, I had more on the first day. Now, I don't want to sound vain, but I have to say I've been doing this label. I've been doing many things. I've been working on my businesses, on my artists and everything. And the times when things work out are few and far between. So when something that you have goes viral or something that you have works out, you're really, really happy. And so I was really, really happy. I was a little bit disappointed that the bot is still throttled to 250. But then I talked with Armful and I was like, holy shit. If they had actually requested the bot on 10,000, 20,000 servers, it would just have fucking crashed and died, because it was in no way prepared for that kind of, for that amount of people and servers that want it. So I'm now shaping up the bot in order to have the technical capabilities to serve these many people. And I can see that people are playing our songs and our music on it. And I think it will be the greatest exposure that our people have received in a very long time. And I'm dedicated to shard and run this bot on as many servers as want to have it. We currently had to limit it to servers that have more than 9 natural users, not counting bots, etc. And even with that, we're pretty much always full. So if you want to have the bot, you can go to counterrecords.com/DMB That's Discord Music Bot. It's called Count Zero Records Discord Music Bot. I know it's a stupid title. I could have called him Bucky or Ringo or whatnot, but I didn't, and now the train has left the station. So, yeah, just gonna go with it. I should have called it Ringo. But it's called the Count Zero Records Music. It's so bad. Bad marketing on my behalf. And I'm gonna see where it takes us. Today is Wednesday. I've been working all day on the bot, and the other time was in meetings. So tomorrow we're gonna do Meg's Beauty. I'm gonna program on the bot all day. Then I'm gonna have my mod meeting, and then I'm gonna spend another Friday, Saturday, Sunday programming on the bot. And I'm hoping that in the next week or two I'm gonna be ready to scale it up, to have it ready. It's currently programmed in Python. It's probably gonna stay in Python. I was considering moving it to JavaScript, but we'll see. So for now, we're moving the bot to a professional server, to a different hosting service. I assume this process is going to take days because we're going to have to recode certain things in the bot. It's not as easy as just, copying it over and then it runs there. Yeah, it never is. And then we have it there. We'll start charting it and scaling it up, and then I'll be really happy. So in conclusion of the stream today, I want to thank you all for being on. I want to thank you for listening to my rambling and my ranting, which really isn't any of that. I think that the whole Spotify thing is important for people to know. To people that know what's going on in the creative industry and how it's going to shape up in the future. If you want to join us and me and other people that are like-minded and talk about the creative industry, help out, you're an artist, you want us to listen to your demo, join us on Discord. It's countzerorecords.com/Discord. If you want to have our music bot, I think we have 10 spots free. We're purging smaller servers every so often. You can go to countzerorecords.com/DMB. Other than that, I'll be back on Monday with the next stream. Record Label Boss. Tomorrow we'll be on Meg's Beauty. She's going to do a stream tomorrow. It's going to be, great with makeup and stuff. And I'll see you on our Discord server. And if you want to support us, that's definitely what you should do. You should join us there. And then I'll be back on Monday to tell you more stories from the Record Label Boss. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for being here with me. I'll see you on Monday. You have a great time. And if you want to talk with me before Monday, join me on the Discord server. I'll see you then. Woo! Oh my God, what a day today. And you can still support Ukraine. I'm not telling you where to go, because I don't want to raise the impression that I'm trying to benefit. But use the official links from the government of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.